Welcome to the Cover 4 podcast. I'm Nolan Kangas. That's Jeff Wall. That's Luca Moya. No Bradshaw. He is on vacation. I guess he cares more about the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks more than our podcast. But so Bradshaw's in Milwaukee. He's going to be attending that home opener, I believe. So that's actually pretty cool stuff. So maybe that is a little bit more fun than just shooting the shit with us, but so be it. Whatever. All we're going to do, guys, we're going to rip through all the games, excluding the Thursday nighter. So we'll do all the games on Sunday and, of course, the Monday nighter. I think there's 4 games that we're going to actually look at and kind of dive more into, whereas the other ones aren't great games. So we might just pick a winner and pick the spread and go with that. All right, guys. So let's get started with 2 interesting teams. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. We always talk about them. Right? When we talk Mahomes, one of the best players in the league, their offense, explosive, their defense, crap. Tennessee, one of the best players in football at the running back position, right? A quarterback who's kind of made a resurgence. They have Julio Jones has been banged up. A.J. Brown banged up too. Their defense, though, also sucks. So that is the one we're going to talk about first in the 1 o'clock window. Chiefs right now are getting 4.5 points on the road, playing in Nashville. I'll get us started. I think I'm going to take the Chiefs and the points. I do think the Chiefs in the second half against Washington football team. I know Washington isn't a great team, but I think we saw more of what, the Chiefs can do. That first half was ugly. Mahomes had one of the worst picks we've ever seen. It was a very,
that's an understatement.
That was a Carson Wentz-esque, kind of saving throw, and it really didn't work out well at all. But in that second half, Chiefs turned it on. That's, the team we're used to seeing. Again, their defense isn't very good. This offense for the Titans is certainly going to be better than what Washington puts forth. I just think I can't keep seeing this Chiefs team, losing these games. And I maybe I just have enough faith. I think if they lose one more of these games to a decent team, then I'll start probably picking against them. But when you have, that caliber of a player under center. I know Jeff recently just shared on social media the one throw he made from basically running across his body to the right and then throws across his body, and it's a dart. I don't know how he did it. It's almost on one foot. Obviously, it got called back due to penalty, but the guy can make those types of throws, and I'm not going to count that guy out quite yet. So I'm going to say the Chiefs win and cover that 4.5 number in Tennessee. Jeff, where do you stand on this game?
I was initially leaning towards Tennessee just because I think I kind of think this would be like the perfect game for them to get going, actually. And maybe they will actually, like, at least offensively, they'll score a lot more points because I think their offense has been not what we thought. I mean, obviously the injuries are what they are, but just generally, I think they've been underwhelming. Even Derrick Henry hasn't been notably banged up, I don't think. So, he hasn't been playing very well, but it's just, man, it is so hard to count on Patrick Mahomes. I know he, like you said, like that was one of the worst interceptions of all time. We also saw him have the longest sack of all time in NFL history. I mean, this guy will have those weird plays, but then he'll make one of those crazy plays. So I think overall, a lot of it is too, a lot of it's bad luck, man. Like a lot of those picks have been tipped. Yeah. So it's not completely his fault. And overall, I think he is just too good. And I think he'll eventually he's going to score, or he'll help the Chiefs score 35 plus points. But I won't quite take the spread on that one. I think that is a bit rich for me.
A little bit closer of a game. Okay, that's fine by me. Luca, you tend to call this guy the fraud, right? That's kind of what you say in our group chat. So are you going to stick by it and go with Tennessee on this one then?
No, I'll go with the fraud, but I am.
So you're the fraud.
No, I am the fraud, but I agree with Jeff. I'm not taking the spread. I think it's going to be a closer game than people realize. I think the one thing teams do when they go in and they play Patrick Mahomes is, take the time off the clock, and that's exactly what the Titans do. They just feed Derrick Henry and they just chew up that clock, and hopefully Patrick Mahomes can be limited in his playmaking abilities. And listen, he's going to make some crazy throws on Sunday. He does every week. I do think they're going to win, but I think maybe if the Titans can keep it close. I actually feel bad for Derrick Henry, man. Like, this guy's getting 30 carries a day. Like, he must be dead at the end of Sunday. He's probably in the ice bath for 3 hours after, because he just gets punishment. But he still comes out and he rushes for 150 yards. It's like the guy just doesn't slow down. So it's kind of hard for me to count him out too. So I think the Titans are going to make it a close game. They did beat the Chiefs, I think, with a worse roster, even though they made the AFC Championship that season. They beat them in the regular season, I believe, the last time they played. So it is possible. The Chiefs have obviously not been the Chiefs we're used to seeing, but I do think Kansas City will win this one because, like Jeff said on Sunday, you just saw them in the second half just explode, and that's what this team can do. So Tennessee, I think, will keep it close, keep Mahomes off the field, but still I got to go with the fraud, guys. I mean, he just does crazy things.
Speaking of frauds, this Washington football team defense, they are frauds.
Oh,
they are horrendous. I think that through the first couple of weeks, they've been the worst tackling team in football. There was a clip of William Jackson III, who was one of their big free agent signings. And I think it was just kind of like a screen or something to Tyreek Hill, or maybe it was to one of the other speedy receivers. And he doesn't go and try and pursue the tackle. He just kind of stands straight and like just waits for Hill or whoever the receiver is to get past the first down and gives him a push out of bounds. And he had 5-6 yards to go and try and, break down and set a tackle. No, it's just his team just seems not in the right place. It's really odd. They have a tough task. They have Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, who are getting 9.5 at Lambeau. Luka, Packers, they look good. Their defense is still, but Washington football team defense is much worse. Are you going to go with Green Bay in that number of 9.5?
That's a big spread. It is a big spread. And I feel like we all think we're all thinking man, Washington actually has a good defense. I think we're all so caught up on last year and the improvements they made in the offseason. We're like, okay, this week they got to at least hold it down a little bit, right? Like it has to be this week. But I think I'm going to go with the Packers unless I see something from this Washington defense, like you said, Nolan. I just can't see Aaron Rodgers not going in there and doing the exact same thing Patrick Mahomes does. And the thing about the Packers is they tend not to start that slow. I get, divisional game against Chicago, it was a low-scoring game. But Aaron Rodgers, when he comes out firing to Devontae Adams 6 times on the first drive, it's going to be a long day for that defense. I think I'm going to have the Packers cover 9.5. It's a huge spread. Maybe a lot of backdoor coverage we've seen already this season, but I think I got the Packers to win this one, and they're going to win big.
Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely take the spread on that one. I think that's easy money, to be honest with you. I don't know what happened to this Washington defense, man. Where has it been? It's just been one of the biggest anomalies of this season, where they were so good, they were so dominant, and now Chase Young looks like he's not a bust, obviously, but he looks so bad. Like if he didn't have that season prior, you would think this guy's trash, but it's really just odd. I have no explanation for it. They're bad. Green Bay is great. And Green Bay even did well against our defense, the Bears defense, this past Sunday. So if they can do that and against our defense, I think they'll have no problem. Plus, the only thing that's holding them back a little bit is their secondary is banged up, but I would take Green Bay easy. I don't really have trouble with that at all.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay in that number 9.5 as well. I think they can easily win by a touchdown and a field goal. I do wonder, we'll go through this quick, Washington football team, Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, who I believe is still the DC, if they keep, allowing a ton of points and, their, record starts to get, kind of crapping down and they start losing some more divisional games, they're going to be on their way out the door, which is pretty unfortunate. But that's the way this league goes.
Quickly, Nolan,
yeah,
if I may. Jeff, how'd you feel about Aaron Rodgers owning your team there?
Listen, man, I don't mind, look, I've mixed feelings, right? Like he was flipped off, so I understand why you're mad. It was a little bit it was a bit much, right? It's a bit
excessive.
Yeah, you don't need to say that to a bunch of fans that also didn't flip you off, that probably actually do have respect for you, even if they're mad. And obviously they're going to be mad. Like you're playing against their team. Of course they're going to be mad, but Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder as per usual because, oh my God, poor me. I was picked in the first goddamn round. Oh my goodness. Just send me something, a prayer of hope. My God, it's so hard done by, but yeah, screw that guy.
I do like how you can't taunt the players, but you can just go taunt the fans.
That's what everybody was saying.
Oh, how's that not taunting? It's like
you're basically taunting the franchise is what you're doing. It's even more beyond the players at that point.
It's weird too. I feel like if a lot of other players did that, especially non-quarterbacks, you would get a fine. And he didn't get anything. I mean, I know he didn't swear, but it's right there. It's right there for him.
I do wonder, I know this is a soft spot for Luka, but CeeDee Lamb, after beating Jalen Mills for the game-winning touchdown, and he just waves and smiles in his face. I wonder if there's a fine coming his way, because he did it at the end of the game, right? It doesn't matter about the flag at that point. So I wonder if there's going to be something coming his way, because again...
Well, you know what? Jalen Mills, he deserved it after that. I don't even know what the hell that was. Just watch them run by him. What are you
Wasn't
doing?
pretty. All right, let's continue with the 1 o'clock. So we've got Atlanta in Miami. Atlanta's getting 2.5 against the Dolphins, who gave the Jaguars their first win of the season. Miami looks like crap. I don't know what happened to them. Their defense was fantastic last year. It's abysmal now. Tua, I know he's still dealing with those ribs. And I know we talked about, a few times now. They have to be regretting that pick. One, can't stay healthy. Two, you haven't seen anything pop on film, right? Whereas Herbert, who was the next pick, everyone's talking about him as this next superstar, right? So a lot of questions in Miami. I think their first round pick is going to the Eagles. And if they're drafting in the top 7, 8 picks, that's not good, right? This is a team that's O-line still stinks, right? Their weapons are fine, but this defense was what was supposed to keep them together. It's not good right now. I'm going to take Atlanta. 2.5 is fine. I think they can win by a field goal. Atlanta seems to be getting it together a little bit more now. That game in London, they were just targeting Kyle Pitts, and he ate, man, and he's fantastic. Cordero Patterson is getting lots of touches, so he's a fun little player that they have. Defense still isn't good, but this defense against this Miami offense, it's chalk. It's a draw. It doesn't really matter to me, but I like Atlanta's offense to get Kyle Pitts going and them to win by at least a field goal. Jeff, what about you?
I'm actually not going to take the spread on that one. And the reason is I think this is coming down to the wire. I think both teams will struggle. And I think the defense will be good enough to maybe, cause a turnover or something like that. But I actually do think this might be a 1-point game. Both these teams I have no faith in. And we just saw what happened with them versus the Jags. I mean, obviously 2 points is not a lot to cover. It doesn't take much, but I will not take it. I think this is going to be very, very close.
Luca?
I'm with you, Nolan. I think 3 points is enough for Atlanta to get the win. And I still don't know how New England lost that first game against Miami. Like, they look awful. And if it wasn't for a fumble, we're not gonna go back on that. We're not gonna harp on the past, guys. But I got the Falcons too, and I agree with you. They got 2 weeks off. Miami's got a long trip back. I don't know if that's gonna play into any effect, but it's just more and more reasons why I like the Falcons this year or this week. Let's not go with
this year.
Yeah, let's
all right, a few quick ones in a row here. We're going to get Jets at the Pats. Pats are getting 7 points. I'm taking the Pats. Luca, I'm assuming you're going Pats as well.
I hope so. I really hope. I hope they cover, guys. Let's be real.
One touch. I can see him doing that.
Yeah.
Jets are still just a mess right now. Jeff, you're going to take Pats and the points too?
Yeah, probably not a repeat, Zach Wilson performance there. I mean, for his sake, you hope he doesn't throw 4 picks or even 3. Even if it's Bill Belichick, I mean, you hope he's a little bit safer, and they're generally more conservative, I think, in that way. But yeah, I think Pats easily cover that spread, no problem.
Yeah, especially the way the Pats played against Dallas. I didn't expect that performance, and they were, they played really well, and Mac Jones looked pretty decent in that game. Carolina Giants. Carolina's lost 3 in a row. They started off 3-0. Now 3-3. Giants, it was ugly. I think they started off pretty hot, actually, against the Rams, and then it just turned to shit. Giants are all banged up too. I think Andrew Thomas is banged up. Daniel Jones is banged up. Saquon's banged up. Kadarius Toney's banged up. In Carolina's only getting 3 points. This has to be a bounce back game for Carolina, right, Luca?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've kind of lost a little bit of faith in Carolina. I'm going to go with the Panthers, but I think it's more based off of how bad the Giants are and not how much I'm confident in Carolina, if that makes sense. But I am going to go with the Panthers to cover.
Okay. And Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I'll keep faith with the Panthers, but sorry, the spread was what again?
3.
Yeah, I'll take them to cover that. I think their defense is also, one of the more underrated units in the league. I think Brian Burns, no matter who's back there, he'll just kill him. So I'll take the spread on that as well.
Their defense really good, eh? Didn't they just allow 570 yards to the Minnesota Vikings this past week? I don't know.
Hey, listen, your offense is good. Give your boys some credit. Your offense is actually not bad, but I think they're more like against the Giants. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's going to be a different story. All right, this is going to be probably actually toss up between KC and Tennessee, but I'm looking forward to this game. You got Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is getting 6.5, so essentially a touchdown. They are at home, and the Ravens kicked ass last week. They were fantastic. And Lamar didn't even have a great performance, right? Like, just the defense was lights out. And this was when I watched, that game against the Chargers, it kind of reminisced a little bit of that 2019 Ravens team where they just kicked the crap out of everybody and ran the ball and nobody could stop them. And they just controlled the clock. So I see this Baltimore team like that. Cincinnati, this is a different Cincinnati team than 2019 and 2020, right? Like their offense is clicking. Jamar Chase looks like a stud. The O-line hasn't been horrible, and the defense is okay. I'm not going against Lamar at home and the way they're playing right now. So I'm going to take the Ravens and the points. I would like to see a high scoring game, maybe, kind of high 20s, low 30s. Will we get that with the way Baltimore's been playing? Don't know, but yeah, still, I'm going to go with Lamar and that 6.5 number against the division rival Bengals. Jeff, what about you?
I will take the Ravens. I think I will also take the points. And the reason being, I think this is probably going to be Jamar Chase's first, not very good game. I think, especially Marlon Humphrey, if he just follows him, I think he can lock him up. I don't think there's any question about that. If he can't, my God, Jamar Chase is a really good pick then. Oh my goodness, that would be crazy if he can do that. And Baltimore's defense looks like they're coming on too. But yeah, I don't think you can doubt Lamar. Yeah. It's tough. There's so many MVPs out there. And obviously, if you check out the Lingo Sports IG, Nolan's always putting out his MVPs. And I think Lamar is right there, man. He is playing lights out. I know sometimes some of the basic stats aren't bearing that out. But for the most part, man, Lamar is dominating. He's just killing it.
Yeah, he's been pretty fantastic. Luca, which way are you going on this?
I just find it hard to see the Bengals keep up with the Ravens when the Chargers looked literally like they didn't know how to play offense. Like that's how good this defense was, and the Chargers have been red hot. They were the best. Okay, here we go. Well,
what I told you, as soon as I gave him credit, he just lets me down.
Let's not go that far. But one bad game. We'll see how Herbert, how he bounces back. But I think I got the Bengals to cover. I'm gonna go with Baltimore to win. But divisional games are usually tight. They're usually close. They've seen Lamar before multiple times. So I think I like Cincinnati to cover. I don't know how close they're going to be in the game, but maybe like a last second touchdown or something. So,
yeah, I could see that. Jeff, you mentioned Jamar Chase. He's top 5 in the league in receiving right now. And this is when all the concerns were happening before of the drops in practice. So I haven't really seen much of that. But I do think you're right a little bit, Luca, too, that Cincinnati's seen Lamar a few times now. They definitely want revenge. When I think of Baltimore and Cincinnati, I think of Lamar in that 50-yard touchdown where he pulls off the spin move and just embarrasses this Bengals defense. So there should be some fireworks in that game. Let's go to the 4 o'clocks. Philly and Vegas. Vegas surprisingly pulled off a win was that in Denver? I think it was too. No John Gruden, obviously. So the interim coach gets his first dub. Derek Carr had some unreal throws in that game against a good Denver defense. Vegas is getting 3 against Philly. I'm going to take Vegas. I have no faith in Philly. This offense stinks, and I hate watching it. And Miles Sanders should be getting way more than 8 touches a game. Like, he's at least a 15 touchback, and he's good at catching the ball, too. This isn't like, Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones, guys who are known that they're not great pass catchers and, only getting those carries. He needs some catches, too, and I don't know what Nick Sirianni's doing. And it's not putting Jalen Hurts in a good spot, too, where Hurts has to make some hero throws, and then the O-line breaks down, and he just has to try and scramble and picks up 4 yards. Not good in Philly. So I'm going to take Vegas. Their defense has been looking pretty decent, and that offense is still pretty explosive with Waller and Ruggs and Renfro. So I'll take Vegas in the points. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I'll take Vegas at the points as well. Derek Carr is still playing really, really good, man. And I don't know what to make of the Eagles. I still don't. I can't figure them out at all. Like, they just, one week I'm like, oh, they got something here, right? And it's like potential. But then the next week it's like, wait, do they have potential? Because now I just don't know, right? Like, they're so up and down and weird for me. I can't put a finger on it. Vegas, it looked like we kind of thought we mostly had them figured out, but I think Derek Carr is kind of what's keeping them afloat for the most part.
Yeah, you're right, because the Eagles, their defense looked good against Carolina a couple of weeks back. And then, against Tampa on that Thursday nighter, it was just Tampa Bay going up and down the field with ease. So, yeah, they're in an odd spot right now. Luca, are you going to take Vegas in the points, or are you going to, pull off the upset here?
No, I'm 3 for 3, boys. I got Vegas as well. They've looked okay. And to be honest, they stunned me going into Baltimore or Denver, sorry. And pulling off that victory after everything that happened throughout the course of the week with, their head coach. So, yeah, I like Vegas to get and they're at home too. So,
That always helps. This is the biggest spread we have on the board. Going to be a quick one. Undefeated Arizona Cardinals. They're getting 17 points against the Houston Texans. Luca, which way you going? And this is a big time spread. I wonder.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I've seen a bigger one. I think maybe Kansas City with like 21 points a couple years ago.
Could have been. I do remember. I think it was 18, which was the Vikings at home against the Bills. And this is when the Bills just had lost. I think the Bills lost 42-0 to Baltimore in like week 2 or something. And then Josh Allen and the Bills ended up upsetting the Vikings in Minnesota.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
But yeah, 21. Chiefs have probably had some big ones up there, and the Bucs recently probably had some big ones. But this is certainly, I think, the biggest I've seen this season.
This is massive. Yeah, no, 17 points. I mean, listen, the Cardinals look unbelievable. Like there's no way I should be going against them. It's just 17 points is a lot. And I actually think the Cards are going to cover. I mean, Houston's just look awful. And the Cardinals, they just dominated Cleveland. Like Cleveland's got their injuries. Yes, you can say what you want about the Browns, but Arizona looks phenomenal on both sides of the football. I just don't know how Houston is going to keep up. Like, I actually don't know how they're going to keep up. Arizona's going to win this game.
Yeah.
By 17 points is a huge question, but I think they could. I mean, they just blew out Cleveland. There's no saying they can't blow out Houston.
That is true. Jeff, you're going to take Cardinals in at 17 number, or you think Houston can maybe squeak out a cover?
The only thing that would make me even consider this is Tyrod Taylor playing, and that's pretty much it. I am thinking the Cardinals win this by 40 plus to like 10. I'm pretty sure. So needless to say, they cover the spread. Their defense is so good, man. Their defense is amazing. And even like somehow, like the way Kyler's playing, the way DeAndre Hopkins is playing too, all the weapons are really just balling out for these guys, man. Like, if they make the number 1 seed and just like go 1 and done in the playoffs, that would be a disaster. But I kind of see that coming. But we'll leave that for another time anyway. But yeah, I take them easily in this game, obviously.
I'll be the odd one out. I'll take Arizona to win, obviously, but I think it could be, I don't know, like a 2 touchdown, 14, 13, something like that, where
garbage time.
Yeah, garbage time and just a backdoor cover. I just think Houston, obviously, they're horrible. Maybe the Cardinals are looking a little bit forward to week 8 where they have Green Bay in a primetime game, whereas they just end up, that's going to be a beauty. Good. And your boy's going to be at that game. So, that's going to be pretty decent too. But I just think, Houston's so bad, but I do think, you're going to get some garbage time minutes where it's not Kyler in the game and none of the starters are back in the game, and maybe they just make it a 2 touchdown contest. Regardless, that game is going to stink. Jeff, feel bad for you. Here's another big spread. Tampa, they're getting 13.5 at home against your Bears. I'll be quick. I'm going to say Tampa. I don't think they cover. I do think Chicago is a good defense, and Tampa's really banged up too, right? Like that secondary is really hurt right now. Justin Fields hasn't had that, marvelous performance. Well, none of the rookie quarterbacks have yet, but I got to see a little bit more from him, and it's going to be, tough against this defense, even with them being banged up. But I do think, again, could be a backdoor cover situation. Tampa wins by maybe 10, 12, something like that. But yeah, should be a easy victory for the Bucs. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Bucs will be comfortable in this one for sure. Tom Brady just playing lights out. There's way too many weapons to cover. I don't know what else there's to say, man. Like, I think the Bears will probably, I kind of think they might be able to score. No, they won't. No, the pass rush is still too good. Way too good. And also Justin Fields' average depth of target is like over 10 yards. So they got to bring that right down because this pass rush will kill him if they're not careful. I don't care how good he has been in terms of evading the rush. At times he's kind of been pretty poor. But hey, he's a rookie, whatever. But no, I can't take him to cover the spread though. I can't do that. I just can't. It seems weird. I don't think they can do it. Plus the defense is good enough to hold down Aaron Rodgers, and Devonta Adams, the leading receiver in the NFL. So I think that's fair.
So you think Chicago can cover the 13?
Yeah, I think Chicago can cover the spread, but I'll take the Bucs to win. Yeah,
of course. Luca, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think they'll. I don't think they'll win. It's the first time Brady's playing him since that 4th down gaff.
Oh, you're right.
Right on Thursday night, unless Nick Foles comes in, Jeff. I don't know. He's the only guy who seems to take down Tom Brady these days. So I'm going to go with the Bucs, of course. They've had a longer week to prepare, and that's always scary when you're dealing with Tom Brady. But I do think the defense is good enough to keep it close.
All righty. So our last game in the 4:00 window is the redemption game for two quarterbacks, right? So we have Matthew Stafford in the Los Angeles Rams against Jared Goff in the Detroit Lions. The big stat that has been coming out of late is that Jared Goff, without Sean McVay as his head coach, is 0-13. He is yet to win a game when Sean McVay isn't his head coach. So he's going to want a little revenge on Sean McVay, but it's not going to look good. The Lions are not a great team. I feel bad. Dan Campbell seems like a fun, nice coach and obviously just wants the best for his players. He's not going to get in this one. LA's really good. That defense is really good. That offense is really good and explosive. Again, they showed it last week against the Giants. I'm going to take the Rams. That number, 15. I think the Rams can cover that too. Detroit is that bad. And Matt Stafford in LA is just going to want to go crazy, and they're going to allow him to throw it 40-plus times. So I'll take the Rams to win big, cover that 15-point spread, and Jared Goff moves to 0-14 with no Sean McVay. Luca, what about you?
Did you see Dan Campbell threw Goff under the bus, I think?
I didn't see the quote. What did he say exactly though?
He said something like, we need better play, I think, or something like that. I don't know the whole quote either, but I know he did throw one on the bus. So usually it goes along the lines of that. But I mean, this guy was being all emotional, saying this team's giving it their all, and now he's throwing guys under the bus. Like, that's not really a good message you want to send, right? But I would love if Detroit wins this game. Like, I would love it just to bring down Matthew Stafford and these Rams and Sean McVay, just to bring them down. Okay, I think Detroit can cover. Do I think they're going to win? I don't think they're going to win. I mean, let's be real. But I do think they're going to cover. And I've always been a Jared Goff guy. I think he's a good quarterback. So I'm going to go with Detroit to cover here. If they can pull this off, this would be, other than the Pats and Brady winning and a little bit of the Cowboys, this would be one of these wins, which I'd love it. I'd love it. I would love the Rams to go down after McVay was running up and down against the Bucs. Come down to earth, guy. Let's go Detroit.
Wow. All righty, Jeff. We got one of us taking the 15 points, and we got one of us thinking Detroit's going to cover the number. Where are you sitting on this one, Jeff?
I think Detroit will cover the number. And I'm so with Luca. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wouldn't that be so funny? Like, if he just comes there and spoils Sean McVay's party? Because Sean McVay, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's him. Like, he tends to not go for it on he tends to not go for it on fourth down type of thing, or like when he's in the red zone, he just kicks the field goal a lot of times.
I think for how in depth and amazing coach he is, I think he doesn't go for it as much as people would like. He's certainly not a Brandon Staley type or not a Harbaugh type. Like he's kind of just thinks it's fine to go special teams in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think that's also like the recipe for disaster, where like he just like keeps punting it, keeps taking field goals, and then eventually like he slowly Goff's picking it up, right? He's getting like 4 touchdowns, and like all of a sudden it's just like the San Francisco game where they almost come back and win. I can't say they're gonna win, but my God, that would be hilarious.
I'd love it. I would love it.
That'd be the best game of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's going to happen that way. That ends up being the best game of the week. But you never know. You never know. Crazier things have happened in the NFL. Regardless, redemption game for both those quarterbacks. Let's go to the Sunday nighter, 8:00 window, prime time. You got the Colts in San Fran. San Fran's getting 3.5. I think it's still going to be Trey Lance at quarterback. The defense really hasn't been the same for San Francisco, in my eyes at least. Indianapolis has turned it on a little bit. They looked good against Baltimore, and then obviously I get it. They allow Baltimore and Lamar to go crazy and come back. Carson Wentz the last 2 weeks has been fine. I know Houston this past week, and then whatever, it's Houston, they suck, but he's made some pretty throws. I'm gonna go with Indianapolis to pull off the upset here. Obviously, cover and win on the road. They need a big win here. Right? They were 1-4, and they go to 2-4, and you still got the Titans that you're chasing. Forget about the Jags. They're not going to be making it. Forget about the Texans. They're not going to be making it. It's a 2-horse race in that division, and you need a big time victory. And I think they can get it here in the Bay Area. Jeff, what about you?
I keep betting on the Colts. and they've let me down so much this year. And I have to go with San Francisco, even though San Francisco arguably has let me down even more on like a totality sort of standpoint, where I thought they were the most stacked, most talented team, and they've really just not been that. But I'll go with San Francisco. The Colts are just absolutely killing me. It's not even all on Carson Wentz. It's just a lot of they've been dumb unlucky, like ridiculously unlucky. They happen to get Mark Andrews' best game of his entire life. Lamar Jackson, arguably his best performance we've ever seen. And Hollywood Brown wasn't dropping passes. Crazy, right? So like, I think they're just dumb unlucky. I'm just going to go with the luck. No logic at this point. But I think Colts will be able to cover that spread. I think that it will end up being close.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1-pointer, a field goal or something like that.
It could even go into OT again, which would be another heartbreaker.
Yeah, I love these OT games. Luca, what about you?
Speaking of that game, it took even like their kicker to get hurt and a blocked kick for them to even force that game to go to overtime. So the Colts have been looking good. I'm with you, Jeff. San Francisco, I think, has let me down so much this year, where I think I'm finally going to go against them. I'm going to go with the Colts as well, just like Nolan, for the upset. I like what they've built. I think they're a good football team. They just don't get the results, and it's unfortunate, but they've played some tough teams. So they're battle tested. I think they can go in here on Sunday night and pull out the win. Carson Wentz versus Trey Lance right now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm taking Carson Wentz right now.
I'm going to do the same. This is going to be a quick one. Monday nighter. New Orleans Saints against Russell Wilson lists. Seattle Seahawks. Seattle wasn't that bad.
Cam Newton, maybe.
I heard that rumor. I did see that they might stick with who they got, but Cam would make it way more fun. Even though Gino's not too shabby. I'm not going to take Seattle in this one. New Orleans is getting 5 points on the road. New Orleans got a good defense. Their offensive Jameis can be explosive, especially against the Seattle defense. And Seattle's defense isn't going to look as good against New Orleans as they did against Big Ben and that horrible Pittsburgh offense. So I'm going to go New Orleans to win and cover. I think they can win by a touchdown or more. Luca, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think New Orleans is good. New Orleans is another team, just like Jeff said with Philly. I can't really figure them out. Like, they're kind of inconsistent. Lost to the Giants. I don't know where that came from, but I think they'll do enough here in prime time to get the win.
Jeff?
Yeah, and it's, what's weird too, like the very first part of the year, like literally the first two games or so, it was looking like this was the normal NFC West plus the Cardinals, and now almost all of them except the Rams and the Cardinals are like really good. Literally, like the Seahawks are so abysmally bad. I know Russ got hurt, and that's a different story, but I think the Saints take this one, and I will take them to cover too. I think that's a pretty comfortable one for me.
All righty, that's going to do it for our preview of Week 7. You mentioned without Russell Wilson, this team is they're going to lose some games, and I wonder if that's going to be the end of the Russell Wilson era in Seattle. But that's going to be an episode for another day. That's going to do it. That's Jeff. That's Luca. I'm Nolan. Cover 4 podcast. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube and Lingo Sports. Check us out on IG, Twitter. You know it. Just share around, and hopefully you enjoy some more content. We're going to have lots more on the way, and hopefully we'll have Bradshaw back soon. All right, guys, take care.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Lingo Sports and Lingo News for a whole lot more just like this.